Hi there, hope you have a fantastic day today. This lesson I will teach you geometric sequence. Of course, there is a PDF file versions on the description below for you to download so you can work with me. Otherwise, let's go straight into it. In a geometric sequence, we can find the common ratio by using term 2 divided by term 1. So let me just write this down. So let's say I have term 2 divided by term 1. That will give me the common ratio. So R is the common ratio. So if I times term 1 on both sides, so let's say I times term 1 here and I times term 1 on the right hand side as well. So these two cancel out. So I will live with term 2 on the left hand side, and on the right hand side is term 1 times R. So in a sequence, the first term is A. So term 1 is A. So therefore, term 2 will give me term 1, which is A, times R. So that is AR. So that is the second term. So term 2 is AR. So let me just write term 1 here. This is term 2. Now, again, we can also find the common ratio by using term 3 over term 2. So we can use term 3 divided by term 2. That also give me the common ratio. And if I times term 2 on both sides, so if I times term 2 here and I times term 2 on this side, so this cancel out. So this means that term 3 is equal to term 2 times R. So this means that term 2 is AR. So I can replace this because this is term 2. So this is AR times by R. So that will give me AR squared. So therefore, term 3 is AR squared. And if we continue with this process, so this is term 3, and term 4 will give me AR power 3. And the next term is AR power 4 and AR power 5 and so on. Okay, so then you can see this is term 4 here. And please take note. So term 2 is AR power 1. Term 3 is AR power 2. Term 4 is AR to the power 3. So therefore, for n term, so Tn should give me AR. So we have one less. So that is n minus 1. So there you go. So please take note. So for a geometric series, so the n term is AR power n minus 1. So please remember this for me. So let's just go through a couple examples. First one, we need to find the rule for this sequence. So first of all, we know the general rule for this is Tn is equal to A times R power n minus 1. Okay, keep that in mind. And we know that A is the first term, that is 8. So let me just write this down. A is 8. And then to work out the common ratio, that is R is equal to term 2 over term 1 or term 3 over term 2. Okay, if you like. So which is, let's say term 2 over term 1. So 12 over 8. So if I divide by this, I can just put that on a calculator. Otherwise, I can just simplify this. So I divide this by 4, give me 3. Divide this by 4, give me 2. 3 over 2 or 1.5 if you like. So now I just substitute that in the formula. So Tn is equal to A, which is 8 times 1.5 because it's R. Power of n minus 1. So there you go. This is the rule. Otherwise, you can also write like this is equal to A bracket 1.5 power of n minus 1. Okay, so whichever way you want to write, doesn't really matter. Second one, we need to find the ninth term of this sequence. So step number 1 is we need to find out the rule first. Okay, so the rule for this is we know that T of n equal A, the first term, times the common ratio n minus 1. So keep that in mind. So we know that A is the first term. So that is 2 over 9. Let me just write this down. So we know that A is 2 over 9. to work out the common ratio. So R is, I can just quickly use term 3 divided by term 2, that is 2 over 3. Or you can write term 2 over term 1. So now I just simplify this, that become 2 times, we flip the fractions, become times 3 over 2. Cancel that, so equal to 3. Otherwise, you can just put down on a calculator 2 divided by 2/3. Okay, you should get the answer of 3. So now we have this. So I is 2 over 9. And we times by the common ratio. This is 3, which is n minus 1. So there you go. So that is the general rule for this sequence here. Now we need to find the ninth terms. So we just find T9. So n is equal to 9. So that equal 2 over 9 times 3, 9 minus 1, which is 8. So I can just quickly write 8, okay? So there you go. So now I just put that on the calculator. So what I do, I just go 2 over 9 with times 3 power of 8. So 1,458. So equal to 1,458. There you go. Question 3. Which term of the sequence is negative 1,024? So again, step number 1 is we need to find out the rule first, okay, for this sequence. So I is 0.125. Now the common ratio R, we can just quickly use this term over this. So I can just quickly write down, so negative 1 over 0.5. And that will give me negative 2. So we know the general rule for this is Tn is equal to I power of R n minus 1. And we know that I is 0.125. So it's equal to 0.125 we times by R. And in this case, R is negative 2. So better, I just bracket negative 2 and then power of n minus 1. So there you go. So now we know that n term is negative 1,024. So that is negative 1,024 is equal to 0.125 negative 2n minus 1. So now what I do is I just divide by both sides by 0.125. So divide this by 0.125 and I divide this by 0.125. So that cancel out. So what I do, I just put that on a calculator. So I just go negative 1024 divided by 0.125. So that is negative 8,192. So negative 8,192. So that will give me negative 2 and minus 1. So to solve this, what I do, I just use guess and check. So I know that if the base is the same, the index must be the same. So negative 2 power of a number will give me negative 8,192. So let you guess and check. And because of negative answer, so the power should be odd. So we can try negative 2 power of either 7, power of 9, power of 11, 13, and so on. So let's just use guess and check method. So we just go brackets, negative 2 power of, let's try 7, bit too small. So what I do, I try 11. If it doesn't work, I going up or going down. So we just work out from there, okay? 11. So still small. So what I do, I increase by, let's say 15. Bit too much. So let's go 13. Should be the answer. There you go. So negative 2 power of 13. So let me just write this down. So negative 2 power of 13 will give me negative 2 power of n minus 1. So because the base is the same, so therefore index must be the same. So in another word, 13 is equal to n minus 1. And if we add 1 on both sides, so therefore n must equal to 14. So therefore, the 14th term. So therefore, there you go. Please pause the video and try this one yourself. Hi there, I'm back. How did you go? So let me go through them with you, okay? Before I do that, please do not forget to give me a thumb up and subscribe if you haven't done so you can help me to grow my channel. So let's get into it. So first of all, we know that A is 4 over 25. So let me just write this down. A is 4 over 25. And the common ratio is term 2 over term 1 or term 3 over term 2. So let me just use term 2, which is 4 over 5 divided by term 1. So divided by term 1 is exactly the same as times by 25 over 4. So what I do, I just simplify this and that give me 5. Otherwise, you can just quickly use your calculator. You can just quickly do 4 over 5 divided by 4 over 25. Okay, your answer should be 5. So that give me 5. So therefore, we know that T of n will give me A times R power of n minus 1. And we know that A is 4 over 25. So let me just quickly write this down. 4 over 25. And we times by R power of n minus 1. R is 5. So 5 power of n minus 1. That is a general rule for this sequence. But then we need to work out term 8. Okay, or the 8th term. So term 8 will give me 4 over 25. We times by 5. And then we have 8 minus 1, which is 7. So now I just put that on a calculator. So I just go 4 over 25. And we times 5 power of 7. So there you go. So 12,500. 12,500. So there you go. Last one. So first of all, we know that T of n is equal to A R power of n minus 1. And we know that A is 243. So that is equal to 243 times by the common ratio power of n minus 1. And we need to work out the common ratio. So the common ratio in here is 81. Or we can do 27 over 81. So if I put down a calculator, or I can just basically simplify both by divided by 27. So give me 3. So 1 over 3. And if we use both divided by 27, so give me 1. And 81 divided by 7 is 3. Otherwise, you can just put on a calculator. You should get a third. So that will give me times by 1 over 3. Of course, we need to brackets because 1/3 power of n minus 1. So there you go. So now we know that Tn is 1 over 81. So we need to solve for n. So to do this, 1 over 81 is equal to T of n. So that will give me 243 times by 1/3 of n minus 1. So what I do, I divide by both sides by 243. So I can just simply using calculator. So I just go 1 over 81 and we divide it by 243. So there you go. 1 over 19,683. 1 over 19,683 is equal to 1/3 power of n minus 1. So there you go. But then we have to use guess and check, or you can use log law, but in this case, just use guess and check will do. So what I do, I just go 1/3 power of a number will give me 1 over 19,683. So what I do now is I just go bracket 1 over 3 and brackets try power of, let's say 10. Okay. So that's not too good, it's too big. So what we do, and we just go 9. So there you go. So that means 1/3 power of 9. So 1 over 3 power of 9 is equal to 1/3 power of n minus 1. So there you go. So 9 is equal to n minus 1. So let me just move this up a bit. So 9 is equal to n minus 1. So if I add 1 on both sides, so therefore n is equal to 10. So therefore the 10th term, okay? There you go. I hope you got all of them correct, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.